And I don't buy very good.
Okay, first order of business here.
I'd rather sit with you than Jill.
You just had a chance to look at finance report in the minutes.
I looked at the minutes, I didn't look at the finance
Well, you,
It's on the back.
report.
I'm looking for a motion to approve or
I'll get on it, buddy.
there you go, Mike.
Ah, Russ, still kicking anyway.
I'll approve it. You want a second? Look at it?
Yeah, go ahead. And, make the motion, I'll second it.
All right. I'll make a motion with
Motion been made is to accept the budget and the minutes,
the, yes, yeah.
or not the budget, finance report.
Yeah.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Adopt the budget. We'll start with the budget here a little bit. Jill has made us out a budget and she went overboard as usual, which we always do. To get it cut. And I checked it out, and what she has done, she has put in extra for maybe a little bump for the employees, maybe 2, maybe 3%, was that right? You know,
Not
that-
much, but yeah.
Yeah, ain't much, but, and then, who told you, what you told me yesterday about
Insurance?
that the mandate did not apply to anybody under 50 employees?
The county council told me that the Obamacare Act did not hold us responsible for having to carry insurance for the fact we have under 50 employees. So it's not
You know,
mandated.
I'm a new town and I had never seen that, and
I
that's the
neither.
reason I wanted to know it.
County council told me that though.
That's right, but anyhow, it's still in here. And that's about the only thing that, she went over the tax levy, that's for sure, you know, but figuring on getting that cut down. We won't know how much till we adopt it, the cent bill.
it. Right.
So if it's okay with you, I'll make the motion that we adopt the
That's
budget.
fine with me, yes.
Get it signed
Yes.
and get it on its way and let them get the cut.
They will.
Uh,
Yeah, because they will.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You have to sign that front page too, Russell. I'll get in before you. I'll get in before you.
We have to sign the front one too, Russell.
JR, you seconded the adoption?
Yes.
That's like my house. Well, yeah, but you used the one that signed all the copies, so I mean.
Everybody and their brother and their 2 kids want a copy.
Talking money for my house.
Do what?
I said, I didn't sign sign this many papers and was it tomorrow?
Well, I just signed them all here, and I'm gonna have the review here. Yes. No, look at that. No, that's good.
You signed in the wrong spot.
There you go, you can sign it now.
You signed at the bottom and that's not.
Yeah, well, you got that curfew out here that was, last week, meeting night, why, we had to run
Did you read it?
yeah. Studied it and everything. I liked it for the last meeting, if you remember that.
You can also, well, I wanted you to read it so we could talk
And then how
about
many
it.
people
You
do
can
you have
also
when
make a
the doctor
curfew
gets
for the
taken over?
cemeteries and put in there.
This is just like proposed, it's not been. Right.
Yeah, it's,
Maybe you said you're gonna do something about the cemetery?
no, there's, by statute, a town or city can have a curfew different than the state curfew. It can be 2 hours earlier than what the state curfew is for children. And so a child, it's kind of complicated. A child between 15 and 17 years of age cannot be in a public place between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. Saturday or Sunday. So Saturday night curfew is 11 o'clock. And then Friday and Saturday night curfew is 11 o'clock. Then on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, it's 9
Here's
o'clock.
a seat, you want it over there?
Cindy's 9.
Thank you.
Friday.
And then for a child less than 15 years, it's between 9 and 5 on any day. They're not supposed to be out in a place. Now, in order for the town to be able to enforce this, like Derek would have to stop the child and question him, where are you going, where you been? And there are certain places that if they're going to work, if they're going to a religious activity, if they're accompanied by a parent or guardian, school activity, different things, that's a defense to it. So Derek's gonna have to stop him and ask him. He can't just pick him up and haul him off to jail, which they can anyways. But this ordinance makes it a penalty on the parents. $25 for a first offense, $100 for a second offense, $200 for a third, and every subsequent offense within a 1-year period. But you can change that. This was just,
okay, the thing of it is, I read it, I liked it. And I called Eric over, because he wasn't here at the last meeting, I said, I want you to study that. And then now, because I'm gonna ask you a question,
okay,
can you enforce it?
I can't, but Derek.
No, I'm talking about, can he
He can,
enforce
yes.
this here?
He can write a citation, give it to parents. Now, if the child is out past the state curfew, he can contact probation.
What's state curfew?
That part I'm not worried about. What
What is
I'm
state?
talking
Isn't that 11
about is
o'clock?
trying to,
11 o'clock there?
No, it's 1 o'clock,
Oh, is it 1
because I
o'clock?
made it 2 hours earlier.
1 o'clock.
I'm not worried about that. That's up to you lawyers. I'm worried about getting Derek enforced.
Yes.
Because he's called out sponsors, we can't expect the man to be here at 7:24.
No, you can't.
And that's what I wondered, I wished he was here tonight because I was gonna ask him some more questions, like maybe get a neighborhood watch here and make phone calls so they see these youngins running around the street here. They can't do anything.
And I know that the town has had problems in the cemetery with kids. The statute also provides that if you want to include in your ordinance that you could make this another 2 hours earlier in the cemetery. So you could say that no person between 15 or 17 can be in the cemetery after 9 p.m. Because I know you guys have
I've seen that all over there.
trouble with vandalism.
Tearing
So I
it
didn't know if you wanted to add that.
Our kid, was tearing ours up, is about 50 years old.
Pretty close.
So you could add that if you wanted to.
K&P's got dusk till dawn, don't they? K&P's got dusk till dawn, don't they?
Yes. They're out there.
I don't know what it is, Jim.
That's what the sign says.
Yeah.
That's the moon.
I know you've got a cemetery.
So that's a big variance between winter and summer.
Yeah,
Is
it
that-
does. They could be out there till 10:30.
Is that enforceable being outside the city?
Well, what I'm saying, I don't wanna keep,
Inside.
delaying this survey ad and everything else from one month to another. Let's get something going here
Okay.
and see how it turns out. Then you can always add to it, can't you?
Yeah. You can have another ordinance regarding the cemetery.
Yeah. Can that be
Have you
written by a county or state officer, or is it only
The,
the town officer? that can
yes.
write those?
Yeah.
Yes.
For a
it is.
town ordinance, I think the town sheriff has to do it. The town ordinance.
Town marshal has to be one, only one that can actually write or cite the ordinance. A sheriff's deputy or a state officer
What do
can.
you think?
Well, I was reading a law blog on that, and there were differing opinions. Most of the opinions said no, that a county or state officer could not enforce the city ordinance, that it would have to be the city, well, which would be the town of hymera's sheriff. Now, if the child were out past the state curfew, then the county or the state could enforce that.
Well, my preference for my question would be like in an instance when the town marshal might be on vacation or unavailable, if a county officer is called in regard to a minor violating the curfew law, could that sheriff's deputy, county officer, enforce that town ordinance?
Well, on this law blog I was reading, the majority of them said no, it had to be the city person doing it, the county could not.
That's not gonna do any good then.
No, it's not, that's for sure.
Okay, anybody got anything else you wanna say about it? I've got a motion here on the floor there.
I just said it's not gonna do any good.
Huh?
I just said it's not gonna do any good because a
Ain't
lot
gonna
of
do any
times,
good if you don't try.
Derek's not around and he's the only one that can
Well,
enforce it.
That's right. I don't want you carrying a gun, that's for sure.
I've already got one.
She just doesn't
But that's
badge.
not what I'm saying.
What you're
I
saying,
know
yes,
that,
the
but
ordinance is
what's it
on the
gonna
other
hurt
book,
the
but he's got
doctor
it
is he
right.
has something to work off of, Kathy?
Ain't gonna cost anything.
It's true.
I don't think it is either.
Put it on the books, and if he's in town.
I told him a little
Work.
story here about how Rex used to do it. He
The only way it's
didn't
gonna
do it,
help is
but Rex
require
used to climb the
a
water
reserve
tower.
officer to take
watch
over
the
when
valve.
he's not available. It's the only way it's gonna be able to be enforced.
Starting on that, down off the other side there. If you don't get.
I'm gonna
to it,
second
work
his
on it.
motion,
Yeah,
we had off that, get it from motion there.
No.
We have to sign it.
Do you have another copy?
No, that's the other one. I just made a copy. I didn't get the original.
You do have the original?
No, I don't have the original.
Because I know it's worked in your road, that's not the same as because recently, city officers were writing
Because I think I
Yeah.
gave it to last time.
And I looked for that one.
A non-paid position.
She was swear.
I'll just what else?
I swear. Well, after unless you know, it's after midnight.
Yeah, verify that.
And they do it where they're at. No, but apparently the cops are issued tickets to
Mr. Clerk.
They know where we're. I've heard them.
Okay, well, we got papers ready for us along.
No, I will get those to Jill by Friday morning and she'll get them.
Okay, can we go ahead and pass it tonight and then sign it,
Yes.
when you get them up to,
Yep. Do that.
okay. You remember what we're talking about, increase in this parcel of ground out here where they have to try to be north of Mitchell Street, up to Lincoln Street.
One we discussed last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've already agreed to it there. But it had to be advertised, you got that advertised, you said, didn't you?
It was advertised, yes. It was advertised
You
twice.
did,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So I need a motion there to get that out of our hair.
I'll make a motion.
Right, I'll second.
All the way. Jamie. Vacation.
Can you find the chair, kiddo?
No, I'm fine. I've been sitting all day.
Okay, you got anything? Yeah, well,
I was thinking about, yeah, I do that. I was kind of wondering about these, some of the properties that we've been talking about as far as getting some of them cleaned up. And I know one of them down here, I think, I don't know which Scales owns it, but I know Dennis, he's kind of been overseeing it, and I was kind of curious of how long has it been since we discussed the fact of him moving a trailer in there. Of course, I realized that in the process of them wanting to move the trailer in there, it was sold out from under him, so anyway, he's got to start all over again. But I'm believing that before he even starts again, the property needs to be cleaned up. And so that's one.
okay, to follow up with you on that, I had Derek come in and got a list, of the ones that have been ticketed, but nothing's ever been done, and the time has elapsed on them.
Derek hasn't written any tickets on anybody's that's elapsed. He has not written any tickets. I do not have any tickets now.
Okay, I asked
can
him
look
for
at
a
it,
list
look at the
of
files.
that,
He did not
because
leave
this
them for
time,
me.
it's just like Clarence said, them places are way overdue. They
He
need
hasn't, well,
paying
he-
tickets now.
But he hasn't even brought me anything to send notices out to notify them, hey, you've got so many days to get this cleaned up. He hasn't given me anything like that. Is he supposed to give me at least a name and an address so that I can, or at least property identifying the location so I can go get a paper from the auditor's office? And I have not received anything stating that he wanted these people to be,
See, we can't even
Violation
go in
notice.
there and clean them up, put a lien on them until we get
so they've been
that squared
notified.
away.
That's right. And he hasn't brought me anything for months on that.
No, now, I was thinking about that other property we were talking about too. At the other end, do you
Well,
know?
that's all in the same.
It's all in the same.
Yeah, that's all in the same thing. It happened to be on his list, you know.
Right, okay. Other than that, I don't.
When we gonna get somebody to enforce the tickets?
That's just
Derek
what I'm
ain't,
talking about.
if Big Derek ain't gonna enforce the tickets on it,
Well, that's just what I'm talking about, Mike.
who's gonna do it? The county can't do it, the state can't do it. So who's gonna do it?
I don't feel like it's my place to go and say, on behalf of the town, I think either board member can give me an address, and I can send a notice that a board member has looked at the property and it's in violation. But that's been his responsibility since we took over. And I'm not going to do, because I'm your representative.
According
want you guys all the
to the
time.
ordinance, says no town marshal is the only one authorized to serve
Or
those
town-
tickets.
Right. For the
And,
notices.
that's
We go
the reason
notice
that
first.
I was telling you not to go talk to them. That's
Right.
what You send your town marshal to do that.
I'll go talk to Derek.
Okay?
I'll go talk to Derek then.
All right, anybody else, I'm ready for, you got anything, Bill, you want to bring it?
Just my budget.
Okay, how about you, Derek? All right, let's see how pleased the crowd is. Anybody got anything they want?
Do you really want to hear?
Brad's here.
I would like to know what the ordinance is regarding setting off fireworks after July the 4th. For the past month and a half, if not longer, I've had somebody setting off fireworks to the west of me, and I live on Walnut. I don't know who it is, that they're to the west of me, but they've been setting them off, starting usually around dusk, up to about midnight. There for a while, it was like every night. And I have a dog that's got.
Well, the only thing I can tell you, kiddo, we're gonna have to wait till next year, the 4th, to see if we can catch him.
Go.
Cause he's
Still
done
doing it.
gone now.
I know who it is, but I can't point fingers until I know. for sure.
There is a law against them fireworks. Anyhow.
That's what I'm asking, if there is some kind of law that should be enforced as to the cutoff date as to setting off fireworks after July 4th.
Is there a state ordinance?
Because you want everything
Have you heard them say? Well, see, I'm not imagining things.
to do. Me too.
Because every time they go off, I've got a dog that goes into a panic mode. I have to practically
I
babysit
had
her.
one saying, I know what you're going through, run out of the bed and everything.
Oh, she pants, she shakes. She has, like she's having an anxiety attack. She shouldn't have to go through that.
Sometimes after midnight.
Yes. Come on.
Okay, anybody else got anything? Mike, you got any report?
Well, this is what I told you the other day, the plant's running good, we didn't have any violations. Everything's fine.
You ever get the wheel back on there more?
We haven't mowed yet, I was gonna come over and see if you had a bolt for it.
Okay.
Maybe do that Thursday, if you're gonna be home.
Thursday, that's that big breakfast, Gil. Breakfast
Maybe
will
you
be
can
done
join
with
you.
it.
Yeah.
Brad can join you.
Cooking breakfast and can fix a lawnmower, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yes. I would like to see what the town board can do in regards to getting Marty removed as president of the town board due to recent events.
Nothing, the town can't do nothing.
They cannot fire him, they cannot make him resign.
No, sir, the man never been convicted of anything.
But he admitted it. He admitted it.
He didn't, I'm talking about my law. So, besides, it's not our call anyhow.
Well, I want to ask, why do our town workers not show up at the town board meetings?
Do what?
How come our town employees do not show up at the town board meetings?
Well, they usually do. But deer hunting only comes once a year. Does that answer your question?
Well,
Not satisfactory.
I was wondering the same thing because they weren't here last month either.
Well, I haven't been for 4 or 5 months. And, of course, you know, I'm the crossing guard for the school. And I used to see one of them every once in a while and wave at them. And I haven't seen them, well, I'll take that back. I see Nick every once in a while waving. But I haven't seen our sheriff, or marshal, or whoever he is, town cop, whatever they call him, since school started this year.
That's what not. I can't hear.
I haven't seen our town cop in town since school started this year. And I had asked,
I thought he'd come up there and relieve you one day.
no,
No?
he don't relieve me anyhow, but I have asked for assistance to control speeders and people passing when they shouldn't be. And it is almost life-threatening to walk out on that highway to get a kid across the street. And I've asked for, well, this is the 3rd year now, because this is the 3rd year I'm
I
crossing
think
guard.
you got more authority up there than he has, just to be honest with
I can issue tickets now?
you. Yeah.
No, I can't, because I don't work for this
You
town.
gotta run them down.
I don't work for this town. I work for the school now.
Make citizen arrest.
But I'm telling you, we've got speeders like you wouldn't believe, and people passing. They're passing what, of course, we don't have any lines on the highway now. But in a school zone,
They still should acknowledge
they
it.
should not be passing when across a double yellow line.
Yeah.
Well, when they fly that fast, it's hard to
You
do.
need more
Or when
patrol,
somebody gets killed because they
especially
saw
at
that.
night.
And I had one person that did not stop for my stop sign. They came real close to hitting me, real close.
Where don't they park their,
Well,
an empty
I
car or
guarantee
cop
you,
car
we're
up
not
there and
gonna
just
be
leave your
able
cop
to
car
keep the
set?
cop up there with you.
Well, I'm like Sue. I even asked one year for an empty car, because that scares people and it slows them down. For an empty
Park that
police
white
car.
car up there because it looks more like a cop car than a dummy in there.
When I first started doing it, that happened, people slowed down. They know it's me now.
I haven't seen reason.
And another question, our school zone is that intersection only. Why can't our signs be moved farther apart on the highway?
What sign?
School crossing sign is right there by the bush at the liquor
I
store,
can't help that. You know who puts them up?
the state. But
The
can the
state.
board ask the state to make it wider?
Yeah, in fact, I've been thinking about having no parking from one corner here to the other one. What do you think of that? On both sides.
Then what are we supposed to park?
Yeah, you're gonna have to have parking somewhere for spare parking most of the time.
They come around the back, ain't they?
Yeah, I'll get rid of her by that hole.
I do.
Well, you live out back. But what I'm saying about the school zone, we've got kids that can cross up there at the marathon, which is very, very dangerous. And I think our
Guys, I'm
signs,
telling you, I've been ailing, and I don't feel like a bunch of nonsense here. We'll try to do what we can here, and that's gonna be it.
well, I'm sorry, saving a kid's life is not nonsense.
Well, I know, but then, we was hiring you up there, we never had any trouble. I was coming to school board to have trouble with it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. For 3 years, which was 1 year working for the board, 2 years working for the school, I've asked Derek to help patrol morning and afternoon. He's never been there in the afternoon, and 1 year he came 2 times throughout the year. And then he came to me and he said, "Is this traffic this heavy all the time?" Our town cop don't know how heavy the traffic is in town?
I'll see if I can talk to him for the night school.
Well, I'll tell you why he's not there. He's taking his kids to another school.
Huh?
His kids don't go to school here in town anymore.
Well, ain't no school right now anyhow, is there? He wouldn't be taking them down. I said, I talked to him before the night's over.
She's saying why he's not in town. That's why he's not in town during the
Why
day.
he's not in town of the morning.
Because he goes to work.
Mm-mm.
He
Part-time,
second
yes,
job.
part-time job.
This is his second job.
But he's not there till what, 9 o'clock?
I'd say, just a car parked out there would stop the slow speed.
Well, I've heard that
down.
somewhere.
Whether he's in it or not. Well, he did.
Yeah, it's probably.
Let me come out there, I'll write this down.
Anybody else got anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Still got a pending issue on some water meters.
You gotta talk up to me, Randy, I can't hear you.
You want me to yell at you? I love yelling at you, Russell.
Right there, I can hear you.
Still got an issue on the water meters down south of town. Have we ever come to the conclusion, decision on how we're gonna resolve that?
And no,
No.
that's it. There's no, that's a headache for the town.
I'm sorry?
That would be a headache for the town.
So you don't wanna give service to 3 residents down there?
So, yeah, we will do that, but my theory is Peabody Coal Company's got a lot more money than down in hymera. And if they wanna put 3 meters to those houses, go for it. All you gotta do is get your contractor and do it.
I agree with you. Peabody Coal Company's got a lot more money than the town of hymera. Probably got a lot more money than the company that I work for too. But they have nothing to do with this issue.
Well,
Peabody is not the owners down there, okay?
No,
That's a misquote on your part.
we have done our job when we made that,
Nothing?
the contract called for us to put that main line right down there to the property line.
So
and that's where
what,
we put it.
I'm asking the board, what is it going to take in order to get individual meters to each of the properties? What is it going to take to get individual metering
No,
to
I
those
don't know,
properties?
but what we're hooking up to is what worries me, is an old rotten water lines that we'd have to take care of. And that's reading right and sound, it'd be a headache for the town.
What is it going to take for you to be happy? What is it going to take? We need a minimum of 3 additional meters down there to meter the 4 properties that are actually down there. What is it going to take for you to allow Nick to go down there and put 3 meters in, 3 additional meters in?
I don't want him to put 3 meters on that rotten lines.
What do you want him to do, Russell?
I don't want him to do nothing. If you wanted to get that done and build you a housing resort back in there, hop to it. We're
How do
still
you
gonna
want me to do it, Russell?
Get you a contractor,
And have him do what?
run it from there, and we'll hook it up after you run your line out to that main line.
Where do you want it?
Well, I don't care where I want it.
Well, that's what I'm asking, Russell. Where does the water line need to start and stop?
Right at the meter at your property line.
At the property line.
At your Peabody property line. I
Russell,
see you got me
Russell.
all shut up, and I can't talk.
Peabody has nothing to do with this. This is not a
That ain't
Peabody property.
Peabody country now?
No. You've got the wrong company. There is nothing to do with Peabody. Peabody does not own that property. They're not involved in this issue at all. There is nothing to do with Peabody. I don't want that misquoted in the paper or anywhere else.
Well,
Peabody is not the owners down there.
okay, who does that?
Sherwood Templeton Coal Company is the owner of the property, and Pat Beasy, Neptune Foods are the 2 owners involved down there, okay? Nothing to do with the Peabody Coal Company. I don't want that misquoted in the paper or anywhere in the minutes or anything, okay?
Okay, how about Sherwood Coal Company?
Sherwood Templeton Coal Company has interest in that property down there, and we need to put in individualized metering to the properties to separate from Neptune Foods, Pat Beasy.
Okay, have them to put it down there.
All right. So do I need to get with you? Do I need to get with Nick? Do I need to get with whoever to say, this is where a meter base is to be installed? And we install a line or what?
No, I don't care.
You want me to take it over to Glen Bedwell's and put it
What
over there or
I'm saying
what?
here, what you do on your own property there with that water, we got it to your property line. What you do from there on with your business.
You want them to buy his own meters and do their own division with the charges? Well,
Russell, when I was on the board, we discussed this. We discussed them having the meters next to the other ones, separating them, and then they would do the lines from the meters to the houses.
Kathy, when that line was put in there, you wasn't even born.
No, the lines, no, the meters would be next to the other
We
meter.
discussed that.
We did.
Not
Weren't
me.
it? Yeah, you did. Yes, we did
Prove it.
discuss it. Jill,
All you gotta do is prove it.
we discussed it before.
actually, that water line that runs all the way down to the lake property was supposed to be in the town of Hymera back in 1989.
I heard you was quoting
And
that.
I gave that documentation to your board president several months ago. And he was supposed,
Which one?
your current board president,
Marty?
that's not here tonight, gave that to him several months ago. And as a signatory to that, to the South Jackson Township Water Association, which Gene Powell, who's deceased, was heading that up, along with several other residents down that area, had signed, along with Phil Croft and yourself as board president at that time, signed and agreed to taking on that line after a period of time after its installation, which was, give or take a few years, but almost 25 years ago. That has already been the town of Hymera's line.
Well, yeah, that's right, but that don't mean we have to extend it.
Doesn't mean you can abandon it. You're already servicing it. Now, that's what you're telling me to do, is abandon that and put in new. You're telling me
We
the
didn't
town.
put it on your property.
Oh, yes, you did.
No, we didn't.
Well, no, forgive me, I misquoted there. The South Jackson Township Association put it in on the private property that you're referring to, but you, as a town board, agreed to accept that after a period of time, 25 years ago.
After 3 years, you guys cap it up, then we would take it over.
I agree with you there. 25 years ago, you took it over.
Right.
Now, all I'm asking you to do is put meters on it.
You what?
All I'm asking you to do is allow me to put 3 more meters on it.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Tell Nick that, will you, tomorrow morning?
No, Nick's not gonna do it.
Why not? He works for the town water.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I'll tell Janet to have Nick do it.
Dennis don't have him worry over it.
No, I'm telling you to go ahead, I don't care.
But do they not
But
have
you
to
can get you a
purchase?
contractor and go in there and show him where you want your lines and your meters.
All I need done at this time is to install the 3 meters, and I will fill out the applications and give you the $400 tap fee, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then I'll show Nick where the 4 meters are to be located.
Okay, let me answer this question, Randy. Whenever you sell them to somebody, is that what you're trying to do, ain't it?
No,
Sell
I'm just,
partials?
no. All I'm trying to do is, right now, everything runs through 1 meter,
Yeah.
which is now being billed to Pat Beasy or Neptune Foods, whichever the occasion is. And then we decide from there the pro rata share for each of the additional residents to settle up with Pat. Now, all I'm asking is the town of Hymera to do like they do everybody else and give us individualized service, and we will pay the water department our pro rata share of usage.
No, because we'd have to run brand new lines from the main line in there, or we're gonna be, because that line that you're talking about's been in there for years, and it's rotten.
And why would you have to put in new line?
Because we're hooking meters up to that old rotten lines.
It's not leaking today.
Well,
Is
you
it?
got it turned off somewhere.
You can't.
Where would I have it turned off at that it wouldn't be going through the meter, bud?
Well, I'm against it, I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. But, like I said, that's a deal where it's an individual deal. If you want that, go for it. But you gotta get your own contractor and go in there and put your meters in. And before we hook it up to the main line, I will send Nick down there for an inspection on it.
Okay. Now, can you explain to me where it is that you want to, for lack of a better term, and I'm sorry because my vocabulary is limited, but for the lack of a better term here, why do you want to discriminate to me when you do this in other areas? You have other water lines.
Show me where we discriminate.
You've got other water lines that you have on private property, just like I'm doing, that you service and maintain, just like I'm asking you to do here, that you agreed to do when you were town board president 25 years ago.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Okay. We've been waiting on this for over a year now, right, Kathy?
Yes. Yeah, we
And I need to get this done, okay? I really do, because it is a cumbersome bookkeeping scenario, not only for Sugar Templeton, but for Neptune Foods as well. Hi, Kathy.
May I ask where the meter is located at?
The meter is located just at the entrance to 6230 East County Road, 500 North.
But I know where I worked at, Kathy.
Well, then why couldn't they put 3 more meters out there?
They can if they want to. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But do they not owe us to tell the fees, the meter pits, and Nick put in the pits like normal?
Do what?
Does Nick not, is he not responsible for putting the meter pits and the pit and the meter and everything?
Yeah.
Well, you
What
must
do you
have
have
him
for
now.
cheap labor? You want the town to put them in.
Which is what Nick would be doing, is putting the meter pits in.
That's right, but he's putting them in on rotten lines.
But if he puts them at the highway, he's just connecting to
He's
those
got
lines.
one at the
But
highway.
if he wants to
We
put
ain't
2 more,
losing anything by not putting them in.
but we're gonna
But
gain
if
2
he
more
puts the meters
customers.
in, I don't care, or these are like, we're gonna be ciphering the same amount of water.
But they have to pay a minimum fee whether they use water or not.
Well,
So that's an extra income there.
yeah, but we're not in the business here.
Well, just help us understand, because I don't understand either, because if you put it at the road and just extend 3 more, 4 more pits, and there's all these meters right there, he's gotta come in and tap into that, correct?
Jill, that meter's been there up the road for years.
Right, but he's wanting to
And he
add 3
still had
more.
3 places back in there,
Right.
he's pushing water to.
Jill, you're not exactly
He's
I'm
gonna
not
understanding, you're not understanding exactly what we've asked to do.
You want it on further onto your property.
There is a line that is probably, and I had Nick measure this, and I don't have the number in front of me, but there's probably from the existing meter down the lane to the last resident that we want to service, I'm gonna say is 1,000 feet. Give or take a few hundred. I'm not exactly sure if it's 1,200 or if it's 800, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 feet. Been there 25 plus years. 1 meter sits right out there at the county road. And from that 1 meter, we have it go up and it wires off and services the first residence. It goes on down another 400 or 500 feet and it services the second residence and business. It goes on to the 1,000 foot and serves the third residence. Those 3 residents are not owned by the same person any longer.
Right, I understand that.
So back when it was originally put in, it was for the convenience of your current or your then water department official. He could meter 1 meter, write out 1 bill, and 1 person paid it. But now we need to segregate those 3 properties. I need that meter moved about 200 feet up and reset where it wires off and meter the first residence, go down about another 400 or 500 feet and meter a second residence with a new meter, and then go on up another 400 or 500 feet, whatever the math adds up, and put a third meter in to meter the third residence on that existing line that is 25 years old that Russell doesn't like. But that's still at least 2 additional minimum bills, in which Pat Beasley has already said that he wants to put in another meter to separate his residence from his business and actually have a 4th meter down there. So there you would have 3 additional meterings for total on that line that you don't have currently. And that's all I'm asking Nick and the water department to do. I will buy the meter. Nick works for the water department and he won't do anything unless Russell approves it.
The board.
The board approves it.
That's right.
And right now he's looking at direction from the board. I've asked him to come down there and do it. I've talked to a couple of board, I've talked to a board member that's not present tonight. He's in favor of doing it, but he has to have the approval of the rest of the board. But what my scenario is, that is like right here by the Legion, we'll say. There's a water line that runs right there down 48. If I went out there and bought that vacant lot beside the Legion and wanted to put a house in, what would I have to do to get water service? I would have to come up here and fill out a piece of paper with Janet.
That don't have a thing to do with that.
Put $400 on the table, and Nick would be down there in the morning putting it in if he had to. And that's all I'm asking you to do. Let me put $400 on the table and come put me in a meter, Russell.
I know.
The board has nothing to do with it. But Nick is scared to death of Russell Knight that he won't come and do it.
That's right. Well,
Because he said he's gonna get his ass eat out by Russell if he does come down there and possibly fired.
And he was telling you the truth.
That's right. He's scared to death of doing it because of
it.
But that water line, you agreed to accept it 25 years ago.
Oh, bullshit. Yes.
All right, tonight,
Well,
Russell, I'm asking you, and I'm sorry, I really haven't met your counterpart here on the board.
yeah.
I'm asking the 2 of you, knowing the circumstance, you've got a 25-year-old line going down through there. I need to put in 3 additional meters and move the 1 existing to give you 4 meter sets down there along that existing line. What will make you happy?
You pay for it.
Sounds like you.
Pay for, excuse me?
You pay somebody and have them to do it.
Do what?
Can I go down there
You
and
can
put
start
a brand,
right
can I go
on
down there
that line.
tomorrow and put in a brand new line down that lane and put those meters where I wanted Nick to put them in the start place? Would that make you happy if it's a brand new line?
Why does that have to be Nick?
It doesn't have to be Nick. I'm asking you as board president, will you
I'm not
authorize?
board president.
I'm sorry, I'm as board member, my mistake. As board member, I'm asking you and your, I'm sorry, is it JR?
JR.
I'm sorry, JR. I apologize for not knowing you ahead of time. I'm asking the 2 of you, if I go down there and I pay for the water line, and I pay for the meter bases that and the hookup that you require each individual, will you let Nick install that water line and put those water meters in for me?
For a price, maybe. Everybody's gotta be paid for it, just like anybody else. He's on private property there. Putting that in there.
Then I'm going to say I'll withdraw that offer and hook up 4 additional meter sets at the locations of each individual property on the existing water line that you already have in place on your water line.
On the main water line out there?
On the main water line that runs across my private property.
I don't know of any main line that runs across your property.
Then you need to get out your notes and your contract that you signed with the South Jackson Township
Well,
Water
show it to
Association.
me. You
I
always
gave it
talk
to
about
Marty
that
and he's got it and he's
and
brought it to you.
I don't even know where you was living down there at that time or not.
I wasn't living there.
There.
I own the 2 acres and I already paid, and I was actually one of the charter members of that South Jackson.
Yeah, Tom Higgins and Jim Miller and.
No, Jim Marshall,
Marshall, yeah.
Danny Weir,
And
Clarence Haig,
Yeah.
Glenn Bedwell.
In fact, Tom Higgins is the one that brought the proposition up here.
That's correct. And guess what? The town of hymera board agreed to it, and you were signatory to that.
That's right. We
Yes,
agreed
there
to
you
put
go,
it.
Russell. There you remember.
But it's down to the property line along the highway. We didn't go on private property.
You have, and you did.
Where?
In other locations as well as there.
Where?
Russell, I don't really want to open up another can of worms for you to go after other residents
Well,
that have had service for
You're
longer
gonna
than I
have
have.
to, because I'm not changing my mind on
Okay,
it.
Russell, can I say something? When Nick moved out to the east end of town, or south end of town, when Nick moved out there, and the only property down there was where Shepherd used to live, Smith's?
Smith's.
You know where Nick lives?
Yeah.
You guys, he put in the line, got all those customers, and they all put in a brand new line, and then anybody that decided to move back in those areas had to pay them the tap on fee. Is this what you're saying, he needs to do the same type of thing?
No,
What are you
No,
saying,
look,
why didn't,
because Nick put his on the county road back through there. He didn't get on any private properties.
he said his property is a county road.
It's a private road. It's
You're-
not county owned, it's
yeah.
private. It's different than Nick's slightly.
You're right. It's Nick's
But you do
county.
have other water lines that were installed prior to this one on privately owned property. And you have individual meters on those private owned properties.
Yeah, we was having a heck of a time eliminating them. One of them was clear in the woods. And it was leaking for 2 years before we ever knew it.
And
But
that's,
we put it back out along the highway. Randy, what is the problem with you doing your own work down there?
all I'm asking is for equal and fair treatment, just like anybody else. you have as
Well,
customers.
I haven't done anybody any different than that.
I agree, I disagree with you.
Well, prove it. Prove it.
Well, if you really demand that I prove it, I
Yeah.
would. Only thing I'm telling you that I am willing to do is that I will buy brand new water lines and I will replace what is there. If you will allow the hymera Water Department crew and the equipment to come and install it and make those meter sets that we will pay for tap fee.
Now, for the town to do that, we're gonna have a lease on the 15-foot of right-of-way on each, along that
I can
line.
give you a temporary construction lease for
No,
right
not
of way
under
with a
construction. That's in case something happens.
permanent waterway
We
right away as well.
You're talking about an easement.
An easement, yes.
Not a lease. You
You're
need an
correct.
easement.
Terminology wrong, yes.
Easement.
The
Yeah, the easement.
interpretation was correct and terminology was wrong. I can get you that probably from Sherwood Templeton and Neptune Foods. I'm not exactly sure if Neptune Foods is the deeded owner or if Pat Beasley's the deeded owner of the other property, but yeah, I'm sure I can get you that. But I'm willing to buy the material if you'll provide the labor to install it.
That's what you're after, right there.
I will do
You
that.
named it right on the head, right there. You want the town to do it to save you a bunch of labor money.
No, actually, I'm willing to pay for extra material that I'm not obligated to buy just to get the town to do what they should be doing.
Well, you think the town, if the town should be doing this, how's come you're living clear down there 2 miles, you ought to be living in town. Then we'd be responsible for your.
Really? I'm not a paying water customer? I'm not personally a paying water customer? And I'm not entitled to come to a board meeting because I'm a paying water? And in addition to that, Sherwood Templeton does own property inside the town limits that I am land manager for, and they also are a paying water customer that is not entitled to the same service that you're giving here tonight. Now, why should I live in town?
Ain't you getting all the service that everybody else is down along there?
We don't want to open up that can of worms, bud, because I am not.
What ain't yours?
I am not getting the same exact service in the rural area that you as the town of hymera Water Department provide the residents inside the city limits at the same pay rate. I can guarantee you that. And you really don't want to open that can of worms.
I don't care over that kind of work, no bother that. I made up my mind. No,
No to which? No to all the above or no to what?
all of above. Yeah, we're not gonna get the town involved in that. That's all.
Do you have service at the other,
Excuse me?
do you have service at the one east end of town?
Yeah,
And that's, okay, what's that different?
no difference.
Russell, he has property out at the other east end of town, how is that different? We service that one all the way back at the lane.
What one?
That Sherwood Templeton out here on the other, right before you hit the cemetery, that's a service. The coal mine out by Weir's place,
The other side of Travis Weir,
Where Oling House used to live.
crossing the cemetery.